Meeting to order. Great, at 1:03 p.m. Okay, so we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone can please stand. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our next item on the agenda is introductions and the establishment of a quorum. We have Kevin Metcalf, Board Director, Jean Sandoval, Board Secretary, Claudine Diaz, CFO, Lynn Tavernetti, Board President, Eric Czar, our Assistant General Manager. I'm Jerry Mupo, your General Manager, and out there is Cindy Graves, your Activities Director, and also Tad Creasy, the First Service Regional Manager. Okay, some announcements for this month. Sun Lakes has let us know that they will begin their charity week on June 20th, and I believe the Friday, which is June 24th, they will have their firework display, so they wanted to make sure we were aware and mindful of our pets. Okay, and a reminder, board candidate statements are due on June 10th if you want them to be included in the breeze, and due June 24th, if that's the deadline, if you want your name included on the ballot. Also, regarding Meet the Candidates Night, the format will be similar to the last election. I request that homeowners submit their questions to the lodge or the management office. We will collect those and present them to the nominating committee, who will then select the questions. And the Meet the Candidates Night is scheduled for June 29th at 6 p.m. here in the Lodge Ballroom. And then something that's not on our announcement is we're asking homeowners to make sure that their vehicles are registered. And registered means that we have your license plate number and that you've also received a decal for your car. Just a couple of quick notes. We have about 1,800 vehicles registered in the community. However, we have over 3,700 gate access items activated. So that means that there's a lot of vehicles that are not actually registered with the association. So if you could please do that and make sure that you are receiving your decal sticker. When you sell your car or you get a new car, you need to register it and pick up a new decal sticker from the management office.
Jerry? Yes? Tell them why.
Oh, good reason. There is a reason why we ask you to register your vehicles. Just a couple of the items are to make sure that we can communicate with you if there's some situations. For example, we just last year slurry sealed the streets, and they could not work on some of the streets until all the vehicles were moved off the street. If the vehicle is not registered, we do not know who it belongs to. And so before we tow a vehicle, we always want to try and contact the homeowner and make sure they move their car. Also, we do have patrol that comes around and prepares a list of vehicles that are on the streets. And again, if we don't know who it belongs to, they could be subject to citation. Good. All right, we've got a couple of board announcements. Lynn, I think you wanted to talk about the Melrose tax.
Yeah. I think we're all aware of the fact that there's a major investigation going on in the city of Beaumont with respect to the Melrose bonds. We want to look into it, but legal advice from our own organization and from the builders organization says that right now everything is tied up in legal matters, and there's not much that we can do until that gets sorted out. There's articles that appear from time to time in the press telegram kind of describing some of it, but as far as us being able to take independent action we would not have access to any of the relevant data at this time because it's tied up in litigation that's ongoing. So don't think that we're not interested or we're not trying to pursue it. It's that our legal advice, which we pay for, so we should follow, we will not be out in the forefront right now.
Okay, one other announcement that I failed to make previously is at the executive session today, the board did approve opening the lodge hours Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. to allow the early risers use of the pool and the workout center. We will announce when that will start. We're looking at the staff schedule and figuring out how we can make sure we get that scheduled as soon as possible. Looking probably around a July 1st start date. And then Claudine, you wanted to make an announcement also.
There has been some confusion as to why the board asked the chairpersons during a proposal that is being made from that particular committee. Why we ask them questions? Have we not studied it or reviewed our information prior to the meeting? We get a package prior to the meeting. I can speak for myself. I review the information, and if I have questions, I set them out so I can ask them during the meeting. The community is not privileged to this information until you come to a board meeting. And I ask some of the questions because I feel if I were out in the community, did not have the privy to the information prior, there may be some questions I would like answered. And I'm hoping that in us asking these chair people questions about certain proposals, that maybe it helps you understand better what we are voting on, because this is our community and we're trying to allow you the information that we have already been able to review. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start with our homeowner input. And as a reminder, please silence your cell phones so you don't disturb your neighbors while they're listening to the presentations. Limited to 3 minutes per homeowner, and only one request to speak form may be submitted per homeowner. There will be no sharing or passing of time to another person. Homeowner input may be held for a maximum period of 30 minutes before the board meeting begins to allow the board to proceed with the business portion of the meeting. This portion of the meeting is limited to board participation only. Residents are welcome and encouraged to stay for the full meeting to witness the business of the corporation taking place by your governing agents. So we'll go ahead and start homeowner forum with Sherry Howard.
Hello? Is this on? Can you hear me? Okay, actually, it'll be under 3 minutes, but there's 2 items. One of them is the shade for the bocce courts at the summit. And a lot, I read on the AM report, it says it's going to block the view. My question is what view? You know, these umbrellas probably 12 feet high and you can kind of see through them. But I think it's more important, there's 20, 40 people out there dying of heat with no shade. So I'm just wondering what's the rationale, and I can be told later on that. Then my second issue is regarding the questions for Meet the Candidates. I know you just announced that the homeowners can submit them to the nominating committee, which I'm part of it. But also too, I was wondering what the board would think about even, not just that, but maybe have a couple questions like open forum, just like what we're doing right now, or input. Because some of the feedback, and last year I was on the nominating committee, people would say their questions didn't get asked. So I'm just wondering if there's a thought for that. And I know I said 2, but actually I got 3 things. My last thing is, why can't we open the summit at 7 o'clock? There's a track a couple of us want to go walk on, not at 9 o'clock because it's hot at 9 o'clock. I like to go 7 or 8 or just use it. Why can't, it's summer, why can't we have that open at 7 o'clock? There's a lot of people that would like it. Other than that, thank you so much.
Thank you,
I
Sherry.
hate speaking.
Did the board want to talk about opening up the Meet the Candidates questions from the floor? Or did we want to proceed with the current format?
Let me say a few things. One slight difference is we're going to eliminate the opening statement from each of the candidates. If you have 5 candidates, that's close to half an hour. And we'd like to keep the meeting to an hour. And we feel that the candidates will have put in the breeze and passed out flyers about what their positions are on the relevant issues. So that gives us at least maybe 2 more questions per candidate. If you recall the last 2 that I've attended, after about an hour, interest seems to wane. People want to go home and follow the national campaign on television, I guess. I don't know, it might be more exciting. But we try our best to keep it to an hour, which limits the amount of questions. If we let the people queue up, you might find the first 4 or 5 people have essentially the same question, just different words. But so we're trying to have a group of homeowners, which was our nominating committee, sort through the questions to make sure that we don't keep duplicating them, even though candidates, myself included, tend to give an answer they want to give regardless of the question. And so it's a delicate situation. We addressed it, and we think this is the way we can get the most different types of questions answered in the shortest amount of time.
Okay. And then we'll further review the bocce court shade and umbrellas and the summit hours and come back with a response. Okay, our next speaker, Lavinia Ortega.
Lavinia Ortega, 1508 Belterra. At last month's board meeting, Mrs. Lyon told us that she, with the support of Rules Committee Chair, Mrs. Napolsky, wrote a letter to Mr. Tabernetti which caused him to recognize the error of his ways and to continue director attendance at committee meetings. She also said that ending such attendance was a blatant violation of our bylaws, as was ending director liaisons. The letter and her statement were based upon a profound lack of knowledge of our bylaws and our community guidelines. Ending director attendance at committee meetings is not a violation of the bylaws, nor is abolishing director liaisons. This case is a perfect argument for term limits. Mrs. Napolsky and Mrs. Lyon have been on the Rules Committee for 8 or 9 years. They simply assumed that they knew the bylaws and the guidelines, so they didn't bother to read them before Mrs. Lyon wrote her letter. If they knew our bylaws and our guidelines, they would know that the bylaws only deal with committee membership. The guidelines deal with the operation of committees and director liaisons. Our Rules Committee has a current chair and a former chair who don't know the difference between a bylaw, a guideline, and a practice. Term limits most likely would have prevented this situation. 2 new committee members would know that they don't know the bylaws, would have studied them, discussed them with each other and with more experienced committee members, and would have reached a different conclusion. Our bylaws were adopted October 24th, 2005, have never been amended, have never required director attendance at committee meetings, have never required liaisons. They are 25 pages long, written in language that all homeowners can read and understand. The bylaws and the community guidelines are on our website. Read Article 6 of the bylaws dealing with directors. Read the community guidelines, Part 2, dealing with committees. then listen, just listen to Mrs. Lyons' speech made before the board on May 12th. It's on our website and on YouTube. Then judge for yourselves. Mrs. Napolsky, and especially Mrs. Lyon, who wrote the misguided letter and made the ill-informed speech, have demonstrated beyond a reasonable doubt that they don't know our bylaws, don't know our guidelines, and don't belong on our rules committee. Term limits would have prevented this problem, and term limits can fix it. Under our proposed term limits plan, Mrs. Napolsky and Mrs. Lyon would be two of the first long-term members rotated off a committee. Vote for change. Vote for term limits.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Gail Lindboom.
Mr. President, members of the board, my name is Gail Newell. I live at 374 Prospect Park. I'm here to talk about why we do not need term limits. Or I feel we don't need term limits. As I look at this board right here, I see a lot of new faces. We just had an election. As a veteran of the United States Army, I served so people could have the right to vote. If these fine people sitting up here want to run, and we continue to re-elect them because we think they're doing a good job, what's the problem here? Wait a minute, this is my 3 minutes. Excuse me, I didn't interrupt you.
I'm sorry, I just thought you asked.
I think when you run for office, it's easy to run for office. It is more difficult once you get in office. Many people campaign on a lot of promises, and then when they get in office, they realize, whoops. When you speak to the committee heads, first of all, I feel like the president of the board has a duty to put out accurate information, not information to support their agenda. When you meet with these committee heads, and every committee head tells you, we don't need term limits, we need bodies on these committees. I don't see a line of people knocking down the door to get on any committee. And when I hear a rumor going around that the social committee has a waiting list, and then I find out that it's inaccurate information. I understand there's a learning curve when you first get elected to a board. You are no longer a normal homeowner. You have a duty to put out accurate information and be careful how you phrase it. I also have heard that there's a homeowner in this community that jumped over 3 other people to get on a committee. That is simply not the truth. If you talk to these committees, especially the social committee, they are begging for people to get on them. Until we see a line of people hanging out the door to get on these committees, I don't see why we're having this discussion. This is starting to feel like high school around here. Many of these committee people care passionately about this community. They work long hours to make this place great for us. If you want to get on a committee, get on a committee. Currently, if a committee has 6 people, let's expand it to 8. If it has 8, let's expand it to 10. If there are people that are dying to get on the committee, from what I understand, nobody wants on these committees. They just want to complain. So I come to you right now and say this. If you want to get on a committee, get on one. Be part of the solution, not be part of the problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Tom Halley.
I'm Tom Halley, 250 Broad River Trail. Good afternoon, directors and fellow homeowners. Thank you, Jerry, for pronouncing my name correctly. At a recent communications committee meeting, Mr. Tapenati singled me out by name, although he mispronounced my name, as someone that's serving on 2 committees. He suggested that I could possibly not have the time nor the ability to be co-chair of the Architecture Review Committee and also be a member of Rules and Regs. He also stated that I pushed my way ahead of 3 candidates to get on the Rules and Regs Committee, which is untrue. I have never formally met Mr. Tapenati nor shaken his hand. He knows nothing about me, yet he feels he can use me as an example of someone that should not be on 2 committees. In addition to the committees, I was re-elected for the second year as district delegate for District 8. The district I represent achieved a 91% voter turnout in the most recent election, which is the highest of any district at Four Seasons. During my career, I was an executive vice president for a national mortgage company. I was in charge of between 17 and 21 states, hundreds of locations, thousands of people, and an annual budget in the billions. I was involved in underwriting homeowner associations throughout the West for lending purposes, and I have knowledge of governing documents and budgets. I have served as president of an HOA in Colorado. I have also been on previous architectural review and landscape committees in other communities. I believe I have the time, knowledge, and ability to handle a couple of committees here at Four Seasons. Perhaps if Mr. Cavanetti knew me, he would realize this and know that I only have the best interest of our community in mind. As far as pushing my way on the Rules and Reg Committee, I submitted my application on August 28th of 2015. I attended the September meeting. At that time, I was informed that there was not an opening on the committee, and I asked if I could continue to attend meetings as an observer and was welcome to do so. Sometime after that, a committee member decided to resign as they were on another committee. Part of that decision was because someone that was qualified had applied, which had not happened in some time. A month or so later, another committee member resigned, and at that time, 2 other candidates applied, not 3. By the time the other candidates had applied, I not only attended the required 3 meetings, but I had attended 5. Towards the end of March, I was interviewed, and at the April Rules and Regs Committee meeting, the entire committee voted to move my name on as a nomination to the board. I was approved by this board at the April meeting. The second open position was approved in May. So Mr. Cavanetti approved me to be on 2 committees, yet feels that it is appropriate and professional to single me out at the communications meeting only to push his own agenda. As president of the board, and by the way, you are not our CEO, homeowners listen to you. In the future, be sure to have your facts correct before you speak, and do not use individual names when presenting your opinions. It is both inappropriate and unprofessional. Contrary to your belief, there are not applicants lining up for the committees. We have 1 opening on the Architecture Review Committee, and the 1 applicant that applied used to be on our committee. Now that's great, her experience is great for the committee, but it again shows that there are not new homeowners or existing homeowners applying for the open positions. Since there are so few of us that are on more than 1 committee, I don't understand what the problem is. This being your platform when you ran for the board seems to be unimportant and a low priority issue to our community, especially in light of the lack of applicants applying for the committees. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jackie Snedden.
I'm a little short. Anyway, it looks like it's committee term limits today. I'm also here to speak about that. My disappointment is that our president is already promoting a change when all the information that he's actually requested has not been yet received. One thing I did notice is that no one seems to have done any study about the committee makeups over the years, so I decided to do that. You can't hear me? Okay. I went to the Old Sentinel and the Breeze from January of 2010 to April of 2016, so that's the period of time I'm talking about. I did not look at the social committee, ad hoc committees, or committees that are no longer in existence, such as advanced systems, or any of the, like the nominating committee, so those are others. So just the 8 major committees, including the current membership. There's 107 residents have served on these 8 committees over that period of time. That's a little over 6 years. Currently, there is 56 positions available. As of April of 2016, there were 9 openings. It seems like some of the complaint or concern has been people staying on a committee too long. So I looked at that too. In 2010, concurrently, there are 16 people that have been on their current committee since January of 2010. But we need to look at who they are. 4 of those people are on our finance committee, where it needs a special skill set, and retention is really important with the institutional knowledge to continue forward with our budget. 5 people have been on our communications committee. Now, the communications until last year have not been able to hold on to 7 people consistently. So if we had not had those 5 people on our committees, on that committee, we would not have the breeze that we have today. Okay, there's been 4 that have served since 2011, 3 since 2012, 6 to 2013. Big year of turnover in 2014, 9 people have served since then, 5 since 2015. And here in 2016, we already have 4 new members on the committee, 9 coming up. And I understand there's been some changes since I ended this particular study. That means we're going to have over a 30% turnover in our committees this year alone. Okay, what are the turnover rates for our different committees? Okay, architectural, there's been a 70% turnover in committee makeup since 2010. Now you've got to remember, in July of 2011, we had to change their membership to allow them to go to 7. They are our only standing committee that we have, and they are covered under our CCNRs, and so they've changed to 7 people. By the end of 2012, they had 7 members and maintained that. Bistros had a turnover of 6%. Communications, 30%. ETC, 54%. Now this committee was only created in 2013. They've been begging for members since 2014.
Jackie?
Finance.
Are you almost done?
I'm almost done.
Okay.
Finance, 45%. Landscape, 80%. Dying for members since 2011. Rules, 36%. Safety facilities, 56% turnover. So I don't think, as the previous been said, I don't think it's a matter of meeting term limits. We need people applying for the committees and staying on the committees.
Our next speaker. Thank you. Okay, our next speaker, Kathy Barnett.
I'm Kathy Barnett, 237 White Sands, and I'm happy to be back here. We moved away. We woke up and realized this is the place to live. I want to say thank you not only to the board, but staff. I want to compliment Dennis Gray for the homeowners, the town hall meeting. It was a little shocking that a lot of people had a lot to scream and holler about. And I really was amazed that it was practically uncivilized. To say the least, it was not very adult-like to scream and holler the way some people did. Dennis did his best to run a nice meeting. Some people couldn't see the screen well enough. Some thought the screen didn't show things well enough. We've only spent $3,900 on the architect. There was mention of all the experts in the neighborhood who have done the architectural work. That remains to be seen. But I really enjoyed the meeting. It was good to see such a nice turnout. But as they say, Smitty's being overcrowded. It's like, that's not the worst thing in the world. That's good for Smitty's business. And it's nice that we have a restaurant, even though it's a little small for our road. But, you know, I've thought to myself, go to Smitty's for lunch. If he's too crowded at dinner, go there at 11 in the morning when he's empty. He has to pay his family, his staff. And he makes home deliveries. That's another option. As they say, it's just so nice to be back here. The swimming pools are empty. They were talking about the craft room being too crowded, this room's crowded, the yoga's too crowded. We could accommodate it somehow. If anybody wants to swim, we've got 2 great swimming pools and I'm delighted they're not crowded. So again, I just want to thank Dennis and hope that we have more homeowners meetings such as that at the town hall. And can use microphones instead of screaming quite so loudly. Thank you.
Lynn, we have a homeowner that needs to give a presentation on our new business item so she can return to work. That's item new business G. And so I would invite Tony Feiner forward to give a presentation on the Angel Series car event.
Good afternoon. I'm not here to complain about anything, but rather to make a presentation. You can't hear the complaint. I said I'm not here to complain about anything. I'm here to make a presentation to enhance our Veterans Day celebration. An organization called Fueled by the Fallen. By the way, you can look them up on they're on the computer, fueledbythefallen.com, is an organization that is a perpetual memorial to our fallen veterans, first responders, police, fire, deputy sheriffs. The mission of Fueled by the Fallen is to assist in supporting our military members, public safety personnel, and their families to aid in their emotional, physical, and financial recovery by displaying and racing the memorial race cars. Their vision is to provide support to benefit our brave military and public safety personnel by directing funds to help those members dealing with PTSD, in addition to providing financial assistance to families in crisis, annual educational scholarships, and mortgage relief programs. The cars represent the different branches of the military. They've been decorated, and all the names of those that have fallen since 9/11 are on these particular cars. Now, the cars that represent the military, most of them now are in the museums. One of them is in Las Vegas, in the car museum. The Angel cars are 5 white Camaros that have traveled all around our state and our country. They have been at the 10-year reunion or remembrance of 9/11. They went back to New York. They were in Kennebunkport. President Bush invited Kevin Major Howard, who started the foundation, to come to his home with the cars. They were at Arlington National Cemetery. They've been all over. What I'm proposing is that we invite them to come and parade their cars here at Four Seasons on Veterans Day. We have so many vets here. We have first responders, and they could come in with their sirens going. It's very exciting. You can get to talk to Kevin Major Howard. He was the actor in a number of movies. He played Rafter in, I forget the name of the movie. You'll have to forgive me. I'm a little nervous. But anyways, you can take pictures with the cars, sit in the cars, see the cars. They can parade up and down our streets and then park around here on the circle. And it would be a wonderful way to honor all of our veterans and enjoy a wonderful Veterans Day celebration. So that's my proposal. It's a perpetual memorial. The cars, unfortunately, names are added to the cars all the time. The Sheriff's Department, my son is a 31-year, he's been with the department 31 years, going on 32 in September. He drives one of the cars, and sad to say that names are added to it too often, as we know. So it's something that is exciting. It's a wonderful memorial. It's a great organization. The contributions that are given to the organization raise money to help the members of the families that have been left when they've lost their loved ones. So it's something for you to think about. I have a book that's here. Cindy, I'd like to leave it with you. If anybody would like to look through it, there are pictures that I've put together. You're more than welcome to look at it, and Cindy, you can give it back to me in a regular day. Okay, thank you for your attention.
Thank you for the input.
Thank you for your
We, as you know, have a large number of veterans here, and we do have a veterans organization. And I think before we take any action, we'd like to get their input as to whether or not they would like us to pursue this. And we'd also want, of course, to look into the organization to see, you know, what percentage of the funds end up with the veterans. Something we do, because there are some organizations
You
that,
have to answer any questions.
you know, so we will look into it.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll return back to our homeowner input, and our next speaker is Mike Martin.
Mr. President, members of the board, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Mike Martin. I live on Aurora. About a month ago, in a morning walk, I came across some graffiti on Four Seasons at Coronado. Took a picture of it, emailed it to the office, and having volunteered for graffiti cleanup groups in years past, I know that if graffiti is not cleaned up immediately, as the term goes, graffiti breeds graffiti. A week and a half later, and 4 personal visits to the office talking to staff, I was told that graffiti is not the homeowner association's responsibility, it's KHOF's. That didn't set real good with me. However, it is what it is. The graffiti was finally cleaned up, and because of what I was told and not wanting to live in a community where graffiti becomes a problem, I put in a suggestion at the lodge, and the answer that was published on the morning report was a little different than what I was told. It was something to the effect of it was in an area not owned or maintained by the HOA. Not really sure what that means, other than it was in the street right away, so apparently that means the city of Beaumont was supposed to take care of it. As a resident, I care less who cleans it up as long as it's done in a timely manner. What I would like to request or recommend for your consideration, because I know you can't take action on anything that's not on the agenda, is for perhaps direct staff to come back to you with an agenda item on how to deal with graffiti. Now, if the agreement with KHOG is they're going to take care of graffiti, fine. But if it's not taken care of in a timely manner, and I'll say 48 hours, which is twice as long as what I consider timely, then the homeowner association should step in and take care of the problem. The second thing I want to talk about is how to keep gangbangers from coming into this community and doing graffiti, and I've heard there's been some vandalism done. And I know this might be beating a dead horse from what I've been told, but the construction gate at the far end of the community, up past the summit, is open 24 hours a day, accessible for anybody and everybody. Everybody knows the code. Most of the residents that live up in that area go in and out of that gate, even though the signs say don't, because, again, everybody's got the code. I would also like to, there's no reason in the world that a contractor has to come in to Four Seasons at night through that gate. If, under an emergency situation, a contractor needs to come in, they can go through security at the front gate, or the homeowner that's inviting contractors in after normal working hours can make arrangements to get them in. So I've been told that the word I heard through construction people is they can't close that gate at night. And unfortunately, the word no and can't is not in my vocabulary. I worked too many years for a company that used that as an excuse not to take care of their, in that case, customers. So I'd appreciate it if you would take both those items under consideration. And also, since there are areas, and I've heard it several times, that the HOA does not control or own, perhaps put an article in the Breeze so we all know where those areas are. Thank you for your time.
Let me hopefully clarify a few issues. Several years ago, probably about 4, there was graffiti on the Trail B extensions on the other side of Four Seasons Circle. We noticed it in the morning, but in the day it had been painted over. This was an area that the association had assumed control of, transferred from Cahove. So we are in complete agreement with immediate covering up of any graffiti. That is our policy, as long as we control the property. Just as you cannot go to your neighbor's house and cover up graffiti if it was on his house, we can't go into the builder's area and cover up graffiti that's there, but we can notify them right away. I assume they do their best to get taken care of as quickly as possible, given that they don't have landscape people here on a daily basis prepared to do something like that. As far as the gate goes, Kevin, can you tell me whether or not the gate problem at Breckenridge is closed at night, or what the story is there?
It's closed, but you can still access it with the code.
Okay.
I'm not sure what we're trying to have the code not work after a certain...
No, apparently people are using the gate knowing the code, but I just don't understand if people are authorized to come in here, which means they have the code, they can come in the front gate, yes, or they can come in Crooked Creek, or they can come in Breckenridge, any one of the 3 gates, as long as they have the transponders or the codes. I don't know that doing something to the gate to keep it from functioning at night is going to be any more preventive than what we have right now. So I just don't see how we can do any more than we're doing until build out is complete. And even then, we'll still have the same situation. It is a gated community, you're right. And we do our best to keep out the people that are not here, which sort of brings me to another subject, which is we have more houses here in the association than we have cars registered here. So we have a lot of unregistered vehicles in our community, and I suppose many of us are guilty of that, not keeping it current. So that's one of the issues we have to work on, so that we can help identify who is here legally and who isn't. But as long as we have all these contractors coming in and working, it's going to be difficult to patrol. So, anyone else? Okay.
Our next speaker is Noel Myers.
Good afternoon. Noel Myers, 1447 Rock Mountain Park. In reading the AM report this morning, I noted, and it's already been brought up earlier, several requests that the summit hours be reverted back to 7 in the morning so that some of us can enjoy what we have been used to, exercising, etc., early in the morning. I also understand that all of a sudden the lodge has been approved to open at 6 a.m. and we can't get the summit open at 7. The reason being given on the AM report is that the budget does not allow for that. those of us that deal with this budget know who prepared that budget. We know some of the problems that we have with that budget, but it's not realistic to begin with. My recommendation is, and I propose this, that management work up the actual numbers and cost to keep the summit open, if not the same hours as the lodge, but at least by 7 a.m. in the morning. Work up those numbers, present it to the finance committee. Let the finance committee, who knows this budget in and out, knows how it works, and let them determine and make a recommendation to the board as to what can be done and what cannot be done at the summit. Thank you.
No, we'll do that.
Okay, our next speaker is Al Getman.
I'm always in the back standing up, so it's a long walk. Good afternoon, board members, management, and guests. My name is Al Getman, Beaver Creek. Basically, I am discussing Neighborhood Watch, and basically some information for everybody in regards to Neighborhood Watch. It is growing and still growing. Basically, I came here in, let's see, Four Seasons in 06, February of 06. Soon after that, I was asked to get on the Neighborhood Watch team. And a gentleman by the name of Jerry had that team at that time. From there, it continued to grow. And as I said, it's still going to grow. We have at this time 79 captains and co-captains listed with the homes that we have occupied and the streets occupied. Number of streets needing block captains is 33. So you can see we still need a lot of block captains, and it's taken an effort from Anita and the steering committee and special members that can hold parties and do whatever to bring in new block captains. If you look at it, basically, for the number of new lots that are still not occupied, there are 12. And if you have been hearing the noise in the morning coming out by Crooked Creek, down by the windmill on the opposite side, the bulldozers and the graders are working to open that up for new homes. That's going to be interesting too, because we're going to have new block captains there. Anita and the steering committee have worked hard and diligently to get this done, and that's what we will continue doing. If anybody's interested to get into a block captain operation or to even come to our meetings that we have basically every month, we'll be more than happy to answer and to assist you with any information you have. We have a lot of information. You'll see that there are sign-up boards for block captains outside, giving you an idea how many block captains, how many streets, and whatever else is needed. Again, I thank my time that I'm spending with you folks here. Have a good day.
Okay, and our last speaker is Louise Lyon.
So walking up here, I would say keep it short. Okay, I'll keep it short. So good afternoon, and I really was going to keep this short, but I decided I wanted to add an extra little thank you, Gail, thank you, Tom, thank you, Jackie, for telling the truth about term limits. And also, would somebody or all of you guys on the board of directors please advise Mrs. Ortega the difference between CC&Rs, bylaws, guidelines, and procedures, because I don't think she understands, what all is involved. Okay, so what I really wanted to tell everybody was,
Thank you so much to Ms. Jerry and Mr. Eric. You guys are running such a good team, and you have so many good people that work for First Residential. And Tad, wherever it's hiding, thank you. And thank you to the board, because I know it's not fun, and I know it's not easy. If you get that picture, it's not fun or easy. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day.
Okay, continuing on, our next order of business is the consent calendar. And the purpose of the consent calendar is to make a single motion to approve all included items. If for a particular reason an item needs to be discussed or pulled from the consent calendar, then a call to remove that item should be made by a board member. Currently today on the consent calendar, it includes the minutes from the May 12th, 2016 meeting. Also approval of the April 2016 financial statements. The implementation of the CD investments as recommended by the Finance Committee. There were no financial analysis requests and there were no lien or foreclosure action items. So I would request a comment or a motion.
Do we have a motion to bring this to the table?
I make a motion that we approve the consent calendar.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded, we approve the consent calendar. All in favor? Aye.
Great. Okay, our next item on the agenda is the Chief Financial Officer's Report. Claudine, are you ready? Okay, then we'll be ready for you next month, right? Perfect. Okay, next item on the agenda is our report on executive session or action taken between meetings. At the executive session held this morning at 9 a.m., the board held 3 hearings for delinquencies. 2 of those hearings had paid in advance of the meeting. 1 is under being monitored. There were 11 enforcement hearings. 8 of those hearings have been resolved or are being monitored for compliance. Contracts, the board approved the common area earthquake insurance policy and with an increase of $160 per year. And also the contract with Brad Alms Landscaping to maintain the area of D2 for a cost of $2,000. The board reviewed the long-term management plan for maintaining the creek and the buffer zones. No decision was made at that time. And under personnel, the board did approve the staff time to open the lodge at 6 a.m. So we'll go ahead and move into our committee reports, resignations, appointments, and information. Before we start, item L, page 53, has been tabled pending further information. So that will not be discussed today. So we'll go ahead and start with the architectural committee.
I'm Tom Halley, co-chair of the Architectural Committee. During the month of May, we had 8 new applications, of which 7 were approved. We had 34 additions or amendments, which is not the initial application that comes in from a homeowner when they first move in, but any amendments to that or any additional things they want to do as the years went on. We had 42 of those and 37 were approved. So total we had, we had 34 of those and 30 were approved. So we had a total of 42 applications all in all, of which 37 were approved. During the month, we also did have 20 inspections that the committee conducted as a follow-up to the homeowner's completion. And of those, 18 are completed, and we have 2 that are pending. The revised guidelines, which we've been speaking about, have gone through the Rules and Regs Committee. They've been approved by the board, and I'm told within the next week they should be sent out to the homeowners for the 30-day review and comment period. Our next meeting is on June 15th at 8:30 in the Rec Center North, and we encourage homeowners to attend. We've had more and more homeowners attend with their initial submissions to us, which is very helpful, because we've been able to ask questions and been able to resolve issues without sending it back to that homeowner, asking for additional information, where allowing them then to move on because they're in need. So thank you.
Okay, in terms of the Architectural Review Committee charter, the only comment that we have to make on that is that the committee is responsible to review and make sure that all of these homes have complied with the agreement. I think there was a question as to staff going out and ensuring that these were done.
Are you talking about what is submitted to us as a notice of completion? Or are you talking about policing the area for violations?
No, policing, yes, policing for violations. It is not, our understanding is this is not going to be a staff thing. This is something the architecture committee needs to do. And the comment I'd like to make on that, if doing this requires additional people on this committee, then I think the committee needs to come back and make a request for additional people to be part of that committee so that this can be done by the committee.
I think there's some things that the board is not recognizing. First of all, our charter has never been to police the community. Secondly, we are involved with homeowners and to help them work through their submissions in accordance with our guidelines. We have a very good friendly relationship with the homeowners, and I think to expect us to go out and now police the area is contrary to our relationship and what our actual mission is in getting the plans completed in accordance with the guidelines. So that's something that...
Well, the comment on that is you, the committee, has reviewed all the plans and you know what is supposed to be part of the plan where the management has not been privy to all of these changes or requests made by the homeowner. And so you are the ones who can go out and look and make sure that they are meeting the requirements.
Which we do when they complete whatever work they did and they send in their notice of completion. We go out and look at everything. But what I'm understanding is you're suggesting that the committee drive the community and then basically turn in homeowners to the management company for violation letters. If that's the way I'm understanding it, then I don't feel that's the charter of our committee. Also, the management company has been doing that, and they have the same guidelines that the homeowners have and that we have. And I'm sure they're very intelligent people that can understand those guidelines.
The board disagrees with you on this. They feel that the Architectural Review Committee reviews, approves, and knows what belongs on all the houses that are not part of the front yard cost center or the Springdales, and that the Architectural Review Committee needs to right-size itself so that it can ensure continuing compliance with what you've approved.
Well, I believe you and Carl had this discussion, and he was coming from the same point of view I am. So we need to have further discussion about this, or you may need to find yourself a new co-chair for the Architectural Committee.
Our next committee is Bistro Committee.
Wow, I hate to follow that one. I'm Jill Anderson, a brand new chairperson for the Bistro Committee. I'm looking forward to a wonderful and exciting adventure with my committee and new ideas that we can all bring forward. We do have some openings, and unlike whatever people had said here, I'm very proud to say we already have 4 applications, but we need more. So I urge anyone that's interested in finding out about our committee and what we're doing, please come to the next meeting. It's June 28th at 11 o'clock in the morning. We meet every 4th Tuesday at 11 o'clock in the morning, and we love visitors and we love any new ideas. Thanks.
I would like to bring to the board's attention that Bill Taylor and Doug Smith both had resigned from the committee. So I think it's appropriate that we recognize them for their years of service and thank them for everything they've done for our community.
I'm Randy Moe from the Communication Committee. The only thing we wanted to bring to everybody's attention is we've got a need for, let me call it a website guru. We need somebody or bodies that are tech savvy to take over the monitoring and support of the website. Everybody on the committee, on the communications committee right now, is really involved a lot in the breeze, and there's not any more time available to look at another way that we communicate. So if you know a friend, somebody that lives here that's tech savvy, we'd like to talk to them, we'd like to look at them coming on board our committee. Thank you.
Our next committee is Emergency Preparedness.
John McLaughlin, one of the three co-chairs for the Emergency Preparedness Committee. We don't have a lot going on right at the moment, but one of the things we have is a new member, which we would like to be ratified today, Mike Martin, who has and through the interview process and his attendance at 3 meetings, has proven that he has an extensive background in emergency preparedness from previous employment in his career, and I think he would be a great asset to our emergency preparedness program with that kind of knowledge and experience. And we recommend highly that he be approved as a member of the committee. One other thing that the committee is doing right now is when we first started, we were kind of both a informational and educational committee for the community to help everybody prepare, but we also were formed into teams and response teams that would help in the event of a major disaster, and not to completely mitigate it, but to help our community until the professionals could get here and do the things that they do, but to help our fellow citizens and our fellow residents. And what we've had recently in the last few years, when we first started, there was a huge groundswell of support. We had a lot of people on teams, and things were looking pretty good. And then that pendulum and that has dipped down to where we are low on teams. Some teams don't have any members. Some teams have maybe 1 or 2. And so we're looking at maybe we need to review what we're doing. Maybe we should change from a response type organization and with a command structure to simply an educational program for the community. And what we've done is, that would require changing the charter. What we've done is we formed a committee of Fred Weck and Linda Gaylor and Mike Martin, our new member we hope, and Anita Worthen will study our charter, study what the group might do and bring it back, and then the committee will make a recommendation to the board as to what we might want to do to change. It could be that we'll say, no, we're doing great, let's leave it as it is, or we might want to recommend a change in the format and function of this committee. So that's what we're looking into right now. Also, I'd like to mention that July 7th at 10 in the morning will be the next EPP program. We'll have a program on viewing wildland fires as disasters. And we've had many fires around our community in the years that I've been here. And we have an exposure and interface with the wildland in certain borders of our community. So we'll bring a person in from the fire department that will give us a program related to that subject. So with that, I'll just leave it as a recommendation to approve our new member.
Would the board like to make a motion to appoint Mike Martin to the EPC?
I move that we approve Mike Martin to the EPC committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Great. Thank you. Congratulations, Mike. Our next committee is Finance Committee.
Good afternoon. My name is Don Fans. You haven't seen me here before because I'm the newly elected chairman of the Finance Committee. Before we get started, I would like to say thank you and express our gratitude to Noel Myers. Great leadership in this committee. Thank you, Noel. Our last meeting was May 31st. We had 5 homeowners present, and we also had a distinguished board president, Lynn Tabernaty, present. We recommended for approval to the board 5 proposals. We had $512,000 in our general account. We thought, well, that's a little bit much. So we decided to go ahead and move $400,000 of that money into CDs to join our other investments. We had a number of CDs which were maturing. We rolled all those also into short-term additional new CDs. We have some numbers up here for you. Our income for the month, actual was $335,194. Budget was $365,47. That's under budget variance of $25,353 for the month. Year-to-date actual revenue is $1,342,358. Budget $1,438,764. Variance under budget of $96,406. On the expense side, for the month, we had actual expenses of $214,238, budgeted at $279,220. Variance under budget is $64,982. Year-to-date numbers on expenses, actual is $898,551, budget of $1,084,875, with a variance of $186,324 under budget. We meet on the last Tuesday of the month at 1 o'clock. We'd like to have homeowners come and join us. It's an exciting, totally. Questions from the board?
Do you have an explanation by any chance of the revenue or the income?
I'm sorry?
The income variance, negative of the income, is there an explanation?
Why the variance?
Yes.
Well, keep in mind that the budget numbers were drawn when the community was originally established some 10 years ago. So it was a long projected period of time for those budget numbers to be arrived at.
So our basic net income now is, go back to expenses, please.
Yeah, right.
So we're positive and bottom line net income.
Bottom line is in the last 6 years, we've averaged anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000 of net income per year. We presently have close to $2 million in operating reserve funds. So financially, we're very, very strong and looking really, really good this year also.
Our next committee is the Landscape Committee.
Simonson. I'm a proud volunteer on the Landscape Committee, and Mr. Hoffman had a family situation that allowed me the opportunity to answer any questions you might have, as I'm fairly knowledgeable about the current things that are going on with the Landscape Committee. The minutes of our last meeting, we'll have our next meeting next Monday at 8 a.m. So the work that's in progress in our minutes are, as I remember them, as being correct, and that there are a couple of items that the board may want to ask about as far as financial extensions are there. Do you have any questions regarding those items? One would be the replacement of the matter around the plants at the summit, around the spa, as well as the benches over the Springdales. Do you have any questions on those costs?
Not at the moment. When we get to that, the proposals we might, but not at the moment. I want to make sure that you talk about the people that we would like to ratify to our committee.
Yes, I understand. I just learned, happily, we will have a full committee, and I understand we have 3 to fill out our committee for the first time in many years. Again, volunteers. The reason I say volunteers is my before I retired, I was an executive in the business world as well as an executive in the volunteer world. And we must remember there is a big difference between volunteers and paid staff.
Thank you, Lynette. I called her at the last minute when I found out Mr. Hoffman had an emergency, and I called her, and she did a great job following up with the minutes. And I know you're going to do a good job with proposals. So thank you very much for doing this for us.
Okay, on page 40 of the information packet, the Landscape Committee is requesting the board consider changing the requirements for appointment to the committee. Right now, they're asking that the appointment requirements be changed to attend 2 meetings, participate in a Brad Alms walk, participate in a Guillermo walk with O'Connell Landscape, in addition to choosing an additional walk. The homeowner must be in good standing and have completed the interview as required per the guidelines. That's the changes that they wish to implement. If you choose to, then the Rules Committee will need to change the common rules to include that there are different guidelines for the Landscape Committee. This would be different.
So do we need to make a motion on this now, or do you want to send it to the rules and regs first?
It's up to you.
What do you guys want to do?
Because it is different, it's different than the other ones. I just have the rules and regs do it first and then come back to us. I'm not opposed to it, but it is contrary.
Okay. And then also on page 41 is the recommendation of appointing Linda Ruoff, Joyce Todtram, and Gloria Johnson to the committee.
I make a motion that we approve Linda Ruoff, Joyce Todtram, and Gloria Johnson to the Landscape Committee.
Second. So moved and seconded that we appoint Linda Ruoff, Joyce Todtram, and Gloria Johnson to the Landscape Committee. All in favor? Aye.
Okay, our next committee is Rules and Regulations.
Good afternoon. Our next committee meeting is next Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the room, I still call it conference room. In the conference room, anyone is welcome to attend. I don't have any other items to discuss at this time, as we have not had separate meetings since the last board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next meeting is, our next committee is Safeties and Facilities.
I don't know why this in a lifetime, I always follow the fire service. They lead the way I follow. The safety and facilities meeting met here on the 7th. Can you hear me? Am I all right for volume? Am I all right for volume? We have no items to carry over at this time. However, if you would permit me, let me touch on a few highlights of what we have, just to give you an example of what we're dealing with lately in the safety facilities. We had a request for 4 gazebos that will be worked on in the Springdale area soon. We received some information for mailbox repairs. We've done some work on that. That's been submitted for, and people who like their mailboxes, I think that would be a nice idea. I'll send that. We also have some repairs that was done for the heating and air conditioning here in the main lodge, which this is the time of year for that. And the audio equipment, both for here and in the gym, I say gym, it's actually the workout area, is being worked on for some additional equipment for that. And for those people providing help, I think we're going to go ahead, and it looks like we may just completely redo that so as to be up to par with their playing ability and also accommodate ADA access to certain areas in there. And for the Summit Lock Gate, we want to be able to get in, maybe get back out. We're working on that. And then an automated pool system and spa system, which will regulate both the systems within the chlorination and also an interesting UV technology to be able to scrub the water for bacteria, which will be it's an interesting concept. I've done a lot of reading on it, and we're working on that, and I think the board will find that interesting. And then we have the LED retro lighting for the facility, and that means the facility as a whole. When it comes to lighting and the savings for energy cost, converting everything to more than LED, but where all the lights will match, fine. Because we have different, if people notice, we've got different colors in different places. We'd like to make sure that it's uniform in different places in the lodge, and that's throughout the area here. And that's what I have for this time, so we look forward at the next meeting to cover those items I've talked about, and we'll go more in depth.
Thank you.
Okay, our next committee is the social committee. Do we have a representative from the social committee? Okay, how about the ad hoc lodge interior renovation committee? Ad hoc technology committee. All right, that concludes our committee reports. Our next item on the agenda, we have no club or group application requests. We do have homeowner facility use requests on page 54 through 57. On page 54, we do have a homeowner request for them to use the movie theater on July 9th at 9 a.m. For a period of about an hour and 45 minutes. This does require a board approval.
And what page is that?
54,
And that's to use which one?
the movie theater.
Because on this one, it says the event starts at 3.
Requested time 9 a.m. I'm on page 54 in the packet.
Nine a.m.
9 a.m.
On page,
And that doesn't interfere.
It does not interfere.
I make a motion, we approve the birthday party.
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded, we approve the birthday party, all in favor? Motion passed.
Thank you. All right, time for our activities director report. Cindy.
Man, let's brighten this thing up.
Can't hear you.
Let's brighten this thing up. Okay, let's start out with piano night. Who says that we never use that piano? We use that piano all the time now, don't we? We are singing with music somewhere. It's out in the lobby. So if you guys want to hear music, I dare you to go to piano night at 7 o'clock this time because our wonderful Sally White is going to be a little bit later this time. We usually have it at 6. She's going to do it at 7, and she's even adding a little portion called Name That Tune. So that's going to be a fun little addition to piano night. So I hope I get to see you because I love to have all of us singing around the lobby like a happy family. So anyway, come be happy with us. And like I said, that's tomorrow, Friday. There's also going to be a mandatory craft fair meeting on Wednesday, June 15th at 6 p.m. We've had lots of questions from new folks who have recently moved in and they would like to participate as a little vendor selling in the craft fair. But here's the deal. We have had so much interest in participating that, don't you like that accent? That basically we do a lottery, okay? So if you're not there at the meeting or if you don't have a special person that you could send, you can be requested to put on a waiting list because there's a guarantee that all the tables will be taken. We've gone down from allowing people to have 2 tables to only have 1 so that everybody can have a good time. And they just pull it this way. So, and whatever number you get, that's what table you get. So please understand that we're not trying to in any way exclude anybody, but because it's such a popular event, please convince a neighbor that owes you something to come down and wait in line and pull it, and there'll be a whole orientation too with a special packet that helps you understand everything for the craft fair and when that's coming up. Now the craft fair actually is not until Saturday, October 15th. So there's some time. So you know you'll be able to make your goodies for the craft fair and have plenty of time and know that you have a table. And that craft fair is going to be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. like we usually do, because that's pretty convenient. And there is a cost. There's a small cost. It's only $5. Bring your checkbooks, because we take checks only for that. And that cost goes to advertising, because we let the gates be open and everybody comes in to see our incredibly awesome crafters and all their cool stuff. And so that's, they become millionaires that way. That's helpful. Okay. 4th of July, HOA, 4th of July is coming. Love that big old blast. And it's always a big deal at the lodge. We always have, if you haven't been here, at least 400 people during the day coming back and forth in all of our different facilities. It's huge. Another way we can bring our happy family together and have fun. So definitely check your clubs and sign up for the potluck, because we always have our big community potluck, remember? Usually lined up over here. Sign up for what dish you want to bring, and it's yummy, and it is a blast, and there's a little show that's connected with that too. We have our wonderful John Noonan organizing that, and the choir's going to sing some of their stuff. But the thing that's really fun and unifying is all of our clubs having their blast, playing on the courts, playing everybody's playing and having a good time. Okay, so having said that, bored, having said that, when I put together my original proposal for the event, I based the dollar amount for trophies on the last couple years, okay, which has been about 20 trophies, sometimes 28, something like that. Well, guess what? This year we have so many people that want to be involved with this and come together that I have a request for 60 trophies, okay? All right, so that's how many more people are wanting to play and have a good time. And how it works with the trophies. So basically, I'm telling you, I'm short budgeted, okay, on the trophy budget. I had planned about $228 on my proposal for 20 trophies. That means they're like $10, depending from 20 to 25, and then shipping and tax and all that, right? And it's a blast because it's not something that the clubs are really doing within their own clubs with their own individual tournaments all over the place, right? We have tennis and they do tournaments with different places, or we have our ping pong people, or we have our billiards or whatever, and they'll have outside tournaments with other people. But they're responsible for doing their own trophies that way, right? But just when the family all gets together and we have a big HOA deal, that was something that actually the HOA is doing as a special treat to help them all be encouraged. And it's very funny, but people, I could be wrong, okay, if we give you out a certificate suitable for framing, I won't tell you where that goes, okay? But if people get so jazzed about a dumb little awesome trophy, and they are not even, I go small, right? Sometimes Domino's, they wanted like 1 million trophies, so I got this small, okay, for their most improved person, their blah, 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 and then their regular first and second prize or whatever. But, so here's the deal. The deal is, it's the HOA for 4th of July, encouraging our own awesome people as the family comes together, so they will have a suitable for the mantle, oh yeah, baby, little trophy, and it says when their neighbors come in to their house, they can go, why, yes, I ace billiards player of the season. Yes, I am the canasta champion of all time for 2016. So it's really silly, but come on. So here's the deal. And I am supposed to not have a horse in this race, okay? So pretend I'm neutral. But it is so great. It's so cute. Everyone's like, oh, I can't wait to get my trophy. So anyway, there you go. Here's what I'm telling you. With having 60 now instead of 20, I can give you guys the cheapest brand of something spray gold that I can for 300 more bucks, okay? And I'll give back whatever I don't spend. But that, so help me out here. Help me figure out how we need to.
Okay, you'll notice Cindy keeps looking over here. I questioned whether or not we as an association want to give, what, $600 now in trophies?
No, not even 500.
You had 300?
280.
Okay.
280 plus 3.
That's close to 600.
John, help me out with this.
That's that special category we talked about. In trophies, to club members, that you have to be a club member to win, as opposed
Or
to...
a resident club member, yeah.
Yeah, in other words, if you're not a regular horseshoe thrower, part of the horseshoe club, you can't win the horseshoe trophy. Or if you're not a pickleball player, you can't win the pickleball. So it's only open to the club members. And I question whether or not the association wants to do that. I can recognize if the club wants to give a trophy, everybody throw $1 in the hat, and what are these trophies, $10 a piece, roughly? Okay. And you get 10 players, $1 a piece, you buy a trophy. I think that's very appropriate. I just don't think for the several hundred people that don't participate in activities like this, they should have to pay for someone getting a little trophy. So that was my question.
No, can I answer that?
Yeah.
Okay. We've done this since the beginning of time, and it's something, believe me, as a participant in this, I've never received a trophy though, but a participant, it's really a fun day when we get together, a lot of us. And to me, it's hard to tell 20 people, yes, you can have a trophy, and I'm sorry, you guys, you can't. So I would like to make a motion that we put the additional 300 in.
And you should buy him a special trophy, just for talking.
Okay. We have a motion to the $300 in the kitty for the 4th of July event. First and second?
Yeah, second.
How do we vote?
Aye.
Okay.
Yes.
It's passed.
Any opposed?
Well, I don't disagree.
Cindy, you have to buy him a trophy.
Okay, I'll buy him a trophy.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And next year, we can revisit it, okay? So if next year the trophies aren't a good idea, then we don't have to go there. Wow, that was hard. Okay, next. Social committee events, I'm going to just tell you since Melody, oh, guess what? Melody just found out she's in remission. Yes, but she's in, what do you call it? Not assisted living, what do you call it? Rehabilitation. Rehab. She's at rehab right now and she'll be coming out of there. So we're looking to have our fearless leader back here very shortly. So, yay, that's awesome news. So I'm going to share with you what their deal is, like I've done in the past a little bit. The luau, we're getting ready for that luau. Woohoo! Woohoo! Saturday, June 18th at 5:30. We do have a few tickets left if you're still interested in purchasing a ticket. The last day to buy tickets is Saturday, June 11th, so that's like right around the corner. At 12 noon, go figure. And that's when we have to give our final catering head count. So if you know anybody who still is interested, great. Also, I'm going to put this out there, okay? Since the Real Men of Four Seasons were busy.
I'm coming.
Are you really?
Yes.
Are you going to be a
We're
pole
throwing
bearer?
our visitors out early.
Are you really?
Yeah, I
You're
am.
not falsely promising me?
No, I am going to be there.
Okay, so then you're signed up to be a pig pallbearer.
Yes.
I need 3 more pig pallbearers. Anybody? All they have to do is
I think
carry.
Tom should.
I asked Tom, but he's graciously backed out on this one. If anybody wants to be done, are you going?
No, but I'd like to be the pig.
No, he's okay. We're not going to. Okay, so I need 3 pig pallbearers. Do you want to do it? Okay, I need 2 pig pallbearers. Okay, so if you need, all they do, okay, they dress up in a sarong.
Hey, and no Tom.
She can wear
And no Tom, we're going Indian.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna try to cut those.
We're Navy.
Okay, they're going to shepherd choke me in a second. So, okay. So anyway.
Do I have to wear knockers?
I have them for you. Okay, good. So I need 2 more people, and all you have to do is carry the pig in on the poles. Okay, at the right time with the fire dancers and the hula girls. And
Safely.
all that. Safely. Yeah, within reason. Okay. So there you go. Tickets are only $30, so tell your friends because it's going to be a blast. Next, I'm almost done, you guys. The Amphitheater Concert Series. This Sunday, June 12th at 7 p.m. showcases the adorable 3 harmonious beauties and their band called The Boys and the Bees. And they are good. They are good. You'll have fun with that. They are a boogie woogie boogie boy type band, and they are good. They'll be singing numbers from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. They're super high energy, super vivacious. They're good show people. And I think they're going to have dancers along with them. So that is really going to be cool. There's no cost for admittance. Just remember, try to bring plastic stuff. And if you're brand new or if you know new people and you want to help them have a really good time, let them know that they might be out of luck if they show up at 7 o'clock on the dot looking for a piece of lawn or ledge. So do come a little bit earlier so you can plant your chair to make sure you get one. And if you would rather, you have another alternative, and that is the pool. There are people who have been having barbecues and pool parties so they can hear the concert and, you know, from the pool or in their with their barbecue stuff. So that's another option if you want. Help your neighbors. Come and be family, guys. And come sing with us, and come play with us, because we like playing with you guys, especially when we're all playing nice together. Thank you, and listen.
I'm exhausted. Okay, we're going to start with the management report, and the first item is the statistics. And this is the activity for the month of May. Currently, or during the month of May, we had a total of 383 issues tracked. And just a couple of numbers, 110 were concerns filed by the homeowners to the management office, and 178 of those were correspondence issues that we are addressing or have addressed. The response, let me go back. So there was 383 items tracked. We completed 183 of those. and we have 200 remaining open at the end of May. Our next statistics is the response statistics, and 328 of the 383 issues were addressed within 2 hours. So all the concerns and correspondence issues were addressed, as you can see on that top line item, less than 2 hours. The completion statistics, we completed 121 of those items within 48 hours. And a number of them were projects, so they took a little bit more time because they go through all the appropriate committees, the safeties and facilities or landscape, and then to finance. And so generally you will find those within the 8 to 21 plus day category. On board directives, there were 6 completed items with 2 remaining open. 1 did require an action item, and that was included in their packet. The enforcement issues, no slide for that one? Nope, okay, we had 46 items opened, 9 were added for a total of 55 enforcement issues being tracked. 4 were closed and 14 of them were forwarded for further enforcement issues. Okay. What other good stuff do I have? Okay, on page 97 in the board's packet, we have the correspondence log. And then on pages 98 through 133 were some communications received by the homeowners. I did want to bring to the attention of the board a few of those. On page 101, we had a homeowner submit a request for reimbursement. There was an irrigation leak, and the homeowner called a plumber to have she wasn't sure what was causing the leak, so she had a plumber come out and do the repair. Had not contacted the management office or called anybody at the lodge. The cost for the repair was $108.26, and the homeowner is asking for the HOA to reimburse her. Board discussion.
I think the board has a problem with the homeowner obligating us to make a repair without contacting us first. In cases like this, sometimes we need to assess responsibility first off, and then make corrections at a cost that if we determine we're responsible, that it's cost effective to us. So allowing individual homeowners to call in repair people and make a repair and send us the bill, I don't think that's our policy, or nor should it be. So.
I agree with that.
Okay. So is there a motion to deny, so the board denies the request?
Correct.
Okay.
Make a motion to deny the request.
It's a denial of the request, so I'll just notify the resident. Okay, on page 115, we did have a letter from a homeowner regarding the Mellow Roofs taxes. As Lynn had announced, we are looking into what kind of support we can provide and how much information we can actually get. As Lynn had suggested, we are trying, however, we're on hold pending the legal issues being sorted through at the city of Beaumont at this time. So there is no response on that one. On page 117 is a second request from a homeowner to reimburse in the amount of $575. It was reported that they noted rats were jumping from one of the common area trees onto a Springdale building. And so the homeowner called out a vendor to trim the tree and to repair the building where the rat was gaining access. Again, I'm asking for board discussion on that.
I think the same policy applies here.
Okay, so request denied. Okay, on page 23, get there. I just want to make sure that we are following proper procedure as far as addressing requests from groups and clubs for repair of our common amenities. Currently, we had been requested to refelt the billiards tables, and so we obtained proposals based on the request. We also received a proposal from the billiards group vendor, preferred vendor. The Safeties and Facilities Committee did review the proposals. They did select a vendor to provide the services. We felt that we did appropriately process the proposals. There was some question about not including the clubs in regards to the selected vendor and the scope of work. I just wanted further instruction if we should be doing more inclusion with the groups and clubs, or...
This went through Safety and Facilities?
It did.
And they were satisfied with the repair?
That's my understanding.
You know, has the club gone back to Safety and Facilities and said that there's a problem?
My understanding was there was a member that did go back, and Safeties and Facilities addressed the questions, asked if there were any further concerns, and the person said no.
That solves the problem.
Okay. Just making sure we're going through proper procedure. Okay, and then page 130. Let's see, there was a request a request to you requesting the eligibility requirements for the 9 standing committees. I remember that the committees were asked to review their charters, determine if the eligibility requirements as well as their sizing was correct, and to come back and make recommendations. I don't believe that those reviews have been completed yet, so there is nothing in writing to provide to a resident. So just bringing you up to date on that.
So once we get the revised, it will be on the website, right?
Once the recommendations are submitted to the board and the board approves them, then they will be available on the website. Yes. Okay, pages 134 through 136 are the homeowner suggestions. And let's go through a few of them. I know 39 was addressed last month, so we're not including that one. Let's see. The first suggestion, and we are keeping a consecutive list of the suggestions, so starting with number 40. At the lodge, we noticed speakers outside where the dining tables are by Smitty's. How about some soft music playing? We did submit that to Safeties and Facilities, so we're requesting their consideration. Next suggestion is please add foliage to Trail C at the end of Enchanted Park. That was submitted to the Landscape Committee for review and consideration. We received a second recommendation, same thing, entrance to trails on Enchanted Park needs some attractive entrance as it is not as appealing as the rest of the entrances to the trails. Submitted to Landscape Committee. Someone requested a map of the community, making sure it's available to all homeowners. They get lost a lot. The map, we do have a map that is available on the website. I think it's pretty small, so it's difficult to read some of the street names, but that's the only map that we do have available at this time.
Well, we have one in the conference room, right?
Yes.
On the wall.
Yes. Next suggestion is, would you please have the weeds taken care of on 4 Seasons before Belterra? And we did forward that concern to Kehavnanian as this area has not transferred to the HOA for maintenance responsibility yet. When I spoke to the superintendent, he was aware of it and they were addressing it. Please have dog leash signs on dog bag posts and mailboxes. This suggestion was submitted to Safeties and Facilities for consideration. Please put an electric pencil sharpener in the computer room. We did purchase one. It isn't there, so that issue's been closed. Allow handicap residents to enter and exit through the spa pool gate, and that was submitted to Safeties and Facilities for consideration. A 4-way stop on 4 Seasons in White Sands intersection, submitted to Safeties and Facilities for consideration. How about a smartphone app for the gate? This was done and it was communicated to the owner that did submit the recommendation. Most of the iceberg roses are fading with brown petals on top of the plants, especially the roundabout in front of the lodge and summit. Please trim before new buds come I'm not sure what that means. That was submitted to the landscape committee for their consideration. I understand that they're on a schedule, and so asking for special maintenance requirements may put them behind on something. At this point, I'm sure that they've done some trimming already. Summit, please do not lock the lockers. If we want it locked, we will get a key. By locking all the lockers, you are not giving us the option. It went to safeties. Okay, thank you. And then develop a graffiti removal procedure. I know we heard about that earlier. Graffiti should be removed immediately and it should not take a week and a half. We all agree. And on association owned and maintained property, we definitely get on it as it's noted or reported. This was reported to Kehamanian as it was property that was still owned and maintained by them. And then close the construction gate at night to deny access to those doing graffiti and vandalism. There's no reason that contractors should have access. Again, I think we heard this earlier, and I did send in the suggestion to Kehamanian as they still control that gate. Other than that, that's the end of the suggestions for this month. Okay. No unfinished business. Eric, or our next round is the new business items.
Lynette, would you
Yes, I walked this with Mr. Alms, and they are doing it just as he commented there. And the budget, if it was, goes again to financial committee for review, there was a, when we get to that point where on the summit, there was an additional cost. Landscape committee was approved the movement of the bids. And finance committee recommended approval.
I think that we accept the proposal to have the tree trimming done. I know it needs to be done.
I can't hear anything.
I make the proposal that we have the tree trimming performed by Brad for not to exceed $86,970. Just way over budget.
I second it.
Put you on the spot there, Lynette.
Yeah, but you have much more background in this than
Yeah.
I rely on finance committee having the background for prior years.
Yeah.
We are putting you on the landscape committee, so we're relying on the finance committee and their numbers to see the validity of Brad's bid.
Okay. Do you know, is this the entire budget for tree trimming for the year, or is this just the annual update that we sometimes have to, and we get new territory or things happen, we have to add on to the budget too. So at the end of the year, this probably isn't the complete budget, is that correct?
That's my assumption.
Yeah, that's usually what's been happening. We picked up by area D2 and we'll get some tree trimming, but we'll get an additional budget when we do that. So it is expensive, but yeah. So we have a motion to approve the tree trimming budget.
I made the motion.
Gene seconded.
Gene seconded.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the Brad Alms annual tree trimming landscape budget. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes, carried.
Great. Can I just comment on the budget portion of it? It looks, it's an amazing number, but if you look at the financial statements, you will see that a number of the categories are over budget or under budget. This will fall in line with the total landscape budget. It will not create an over budget event at the end of the year. because our landscape maintenance portion is actually significantly under budget. So with the two numbers combined, it does provide us enough funding. So I know it's just an outstanding number, and it scares a lot of people that sees
And
the
I'd like to
number.
make a comment also. It appears that Brad will be doing some trimming for free in the amount of $4,855.
I concur.
So, I mean, that's nice that he's going to be doing that for us.
Okay. So next is some color. Annual color.
Again, that was discussed at our last meeting, and Jerry and Jean remember, as I believe as I do, and I think we covered all of those issues extensively. That is appropriate for the plants and for our costs. Finance committee approved, and we concurred. I think we gave a pretty thorough discussion.
Okay. Proposal?
I make a proposal that we accept this proposal for the annual installation of annuals, and not to exceed 3,300, am I correct on that?
Yes.
Thank you, not to exceed 3,300.
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve Brad Alm's annual color installation for landscaping at a not to exceed cost of $3,300. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is rock insulation around the Summit Spa Pool.
As the pictures show, it's a pretty broad area, and it will relieve the issue of the lighter ground cover blowing into the spa, and the rocks that were proposed for this replacement would be of a type that would be very stable and would be maintenance-free for a reasonable period of time.
And if I could just make a comment. Would you go to one of the pictures?
Sure.
There's a sign, way in the
Back
back,
there.
that sign right there, you can't see it because there's so many plants in front of it.
Yeah.
So Safety Facilities approved yesterday that we're going to move the sign forward so you can see what's on there before they start to work with the rocks.
Okay. We have a motion.
I make a motion to approve this proposal to install or remove the ground cover, not ground cover, the mulch that's up there right now, and install the crushed rock in the areas, there's a few areas around there, in the amount of $3,325.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the installation of rocks around the Summit Spa area in lieu of the wood chips for a cost not to exceed $3,325. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next is Springdale concrete bench pad installation.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yes.
I know that there's also going to be a proposal to, are those associated with the gazebos at all?
No.
No.
No, okay, take that back.
Number one is absolutely correct, that they are sinking in the ground, and aesthetically, they're not attractive, and I wouldn't want to sit on it, not because it's moving, but because it's kind of tilts your back, and I'm short.
What do they propose to do with, are they going to set them on something?
Pour cement underneath them.
Underneath each one? Okay, so they'll sit on a slab rather than the raw ground?
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, stability, as well as aesthetics.
I make a proposal that we accept the repair of the chairs not to exceed $1,500.
Second.
Well, it's not repair the chairs, it's replace
Place them on a slab.
Putting them on a slab.
Yeah,
Not to exceed $1,500.
and I second that.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the proposal to place 3 benches on concrete slabs in the Springdale area at a at a cost not to exceed $1,500. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks, Lynette.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh, gosh, it's me and money again. Okay, so here's the deal. Everyone knows that great bands are very expensive, right? So here's the deal. Sun Lakes, our wonderful, big budgeted neighbor, has chosen this band called Switchback that is top-notch, fun, like Celtic Americana for March, like St. Patrick's Day-ish type, for 2017. They are paying, Sun Lakes is paying for them, they live in Chicago, they're doing a gig in Northern California, and Sun Lakes is paying to fly them from Northern California to do a gig for them at Sun Lakes for over $2,000, and paying for their hotel and accommodations. Well, we, being their low-budget neighbor, have been invited to have a concert over here. Well, I already told them there is no way in heck we're going to be able to do the 2,000 whatnot. And I said the most I think we might be able to get, based on the amphitheater concerts and how much we paid for those bands, which this is right in line for. So, well, maybe I can get $700 and have them over and let Sun Lakes pay all the big costs. So if you're interested in doing it, it would be next year, March 26th, a little bit after St. Patrick's Day, because that's how they're flying and whatever. And then I was going to ask if we do it as an HOA event, and we have some refreshments, and I was thinking like mashed potato martinis, since, you know, if you've ever had those are really fun. It's like a potato bar, only it's in martini glasses. So just kind of fun. But anyway, so I added $125 for that. If we fill up the whole place for our concert seating for $350, then that's like, help me out, Don. It's like $2.35 a person, okay? It would be a special treat from the HOA to the community as a fun event, okay? If you want to do something like that. There's a possibility, and the reason I'm bringing this up to you right now is because they would like to have a $200 deposit to nail us. Otherwise, they're going to Solera, and whoever else wants to get on the shirt tails of Sun Lakes, okay? So that's why I'm doing it now. I did take it to social committee, and I said, you know, I do realize that Mardi Gras next year is going to be the first week of March. This is the last, kind of the last week, right, of March. So that might be a bit much for them, but they were really excited about it, hearing the band and everything. They said, you know, we would love to do it, and we want to do the mashed potato martinis. So if they decide to go ahead and do it, because their Mardi Gras chairperson was not available to cook, you know, we don't want to step on toes, right? And it would be a ticketed deal in that case, like $10 or something, right? To see a great concert and have mashed potato martinis. So if that's the case, you would be paying like $10. And then social committee would be paying you guys back, would pay the general fund back $200. And then with their ticketed amounts, they would then pay the band. So that's the two options. Either way, what I am asking you to consider, if either of those sound like a decent deal, and it sounds like something you'd want to have, I need to have $200 like this month approved so that they don't go to other communities to do that so that we can help. So either social committee would pay you back and it would be a ticketed event, or it would be a wonderful treat like an amphitheater thing before amphitheater starts, and it would be here, and then The HOA would do the mashed potato martinis. And I'm trying to go faster, sorry. So what do you think? What do you guys think? What do you think?
Cindy,
What?
are you having it in the amphitheater or in here?
Heck no, it's March. We'll have it here, and that's why we can fit 350 in here. Yeah, we can't fit 350 at the amphitheater. What do you think? And I honestly don't care either way. I just think it's a fun.
They know it's I listen to it. I put them on, and they're good if you're into Celtic music.
Well, because it's St. Patrick's. If you go all the way to the St. Patrick's Day concert, up the ones that they do, I'm not that crazy about their Americana ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If people to understand, that's the type of music that it is.
Right. There would be like a post St. Patrick's Day. You're right. Yeah. So whatever you guys want to do. You're not going to hurt my feelings either way. Whatever you want to do.
Why not?
Yeah, I'm red. I'm going to talk loud because if you can't hear, my thing is going red. But this is something totally different that we have had in the 4 years that I've been here, something totally different. I happen to like this kind of music, so I've never had a mashed potato martini, so that sounds appetizing as well. So I also say, why not?
So you're going to have, okay, are they going to come in and then buy the martinis, or is the martinis part of the $10 ticket?
Yeah, it'll be part of the $10 ticket. Yeah, remember there's no alcohol. There's no alcohol in it. It's just in a giant martini glass.
Can you bring your own?
Yeah, bring your own, but then have your martini. It's in a martini glass.
And are you going to rent the martini glasses?
Heck no, we're using disposable. Yeah, that you can toss at the end.
I think they'd rather have a little trophy.
Yeah. I don't know, what do you want to
So, what are you asking for right now? $200?
Yeah.
You're just asking for $200,
I'm
right?
asking for $200 and an approval of that event, whether social committee does it and pays back, or whether we do it as a treat as an HOA. Yeah.
Well, we have a proposal to approve $200 for a St. Patrick's Day concert. The venue to be determined at a later date.
The sponsor to be determined at
The sponsor to be determined at a later date.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Okay,
You move it?
Yeah.
I second it.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the expenditure of $200 for a St. Patrick's Day concert.
Deposit.
Deposit.
Okay, thanks.
So we get the money back if we don't?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If they don't show up, they give us the money back.
Yeah, but if we back out, we don't.
We're not backing out, or we lose the
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Okay, are we good?
Yep, thanks, Cindy. All right, next up is Neighborhood Watch for the National Night Out.
All right, I'm not a Cindy, so therefore this is going to be a little drier. We have hosted the Neighborhood Watch for the National Night Out for the last 7 years. And we're requesting $250 for refreshments, table, decorations, and it will be on August the 10th. We always have the chief of police for Banning, Beaumont. We have the city mayor. We've already given them the invitations. We have the sheriff here, and it's a way to actually congratulate them and go with them about what they do and recognize them. So we're asking if we could have $250, that's our proposal, to put on this event on. It's at 5:30 at Chicago, and we have the Neighborhood Watch and the block captains, and it's open to everybody, and they come out, the police department, people come out, and you intermingle with them. It's a great night, so that's what we're asking.
Would that be
sheriff here and some other people. So we're asking for your help with this.
I make a motion that we accept the proposal for the Neighborhood Watch or Neighborhood National Night Out and for $250.
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve an expenditure of $250 for National Night Out. In favor? Aye.
Thanks, Anita.
And all of you should be here, we'll have flyers out, and Mr. Al Getman is a very important part. Thank you.
Next up is a proposal from the African American Culture Club for a music event.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
Is the light on?
Hi, my name is Willa Harris.
No, somebody turned it off on you.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay, once again, my name is Willa Harris. I live at 441 Glacier Park. I've been here for going on 8 years in October 23rd. But what I want to do, I'm a part of the African American Cultural Club. And each year, most of us do, you know, beautiful events. We like music, we like fun. And I came from a family that background of singers and dancers. And if you know my husband, Lee Harris, who loved to sing with Cindy. But anyway, to make a long story short, I'm proposing to the board, I would like to make this event called Motown Show, using some of the residents and of course the AAC, African American Club. And this will be, I'm trying to get the date of August 5th from 6:30 to 8:30. And that's my proposal.
We have a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the African American Culture Club. The name of the program is Motown.
Yes, it is. It's called a musical show. And really, actually, I called it Motown Visit Four Seasons because a lot of the residents is going to be in it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the African American Club sponsoring Four Seasons Meets Motown here on the 5th of August. All those in favor? Aye.
Oh, thank you so much. And I do see a few of my actors here, especially Tom. And I'm depending on this, especially Cindy. I want her to do a duet with my hubby. If you can, it does. Thank you.
Thank you, Willa. All right, so the announcement, the next board meeting will be Thursday, July 14th at 1 p.m. here in the Lodge Ballroom.
Okay, meeting is adjourned.